Pride is like a time, a space for queer people to have a time and a space to be proudly queer.
So Freya, you're 23 and you're the youngest director of the Pride Gala.
So the gala is like the opening night of the whole like Pride Festival. It's a party for people to open and celebrate the beginning of the Pride Week. And it's basically a big variety show which includes acts from within the festival and other kind of queer art that's popping off right now in Auckland.
This is the first rehearsal?
This is our first rehearsal for our little troupe of clowns who are going to be appearing throughout the evening.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
I'm loving the look.
Yes.
I'm sensing director, I'm sensing fame, I'm sensing fortune.
You've got to take yourself seriously in this industry. So we're working with sort of some of the finest queer clowns in Auckland. Tread carefully. Hi, sweeties! We rehearsed that 4 times.
Headlining the gala is Coven, a multidisciplinary Vogue house based in Auckland, Tamaki Makaurau.
It's interesting this year that we get to do the Pride Gala because we haven't before. It's still a very new learning experience for everybody on how to be more inclusive with all the different intersections of queers.
Well, as a trans brown girl, it's never been for me, but I still feel like that's still my festival in a way. It was never a place for my people from the queers out south to like come and like kiki with like the white queers in Central.
It's been nice to feel included and appreciated and for people to empathetically think about what it is that we might need as disenfranchised individuals.
I'm excited for the food. I'm excited to sweat on stage and look sexy and then get that plate. And just eat it and be like, happy Pride.
I think with Pride this year there are a lot of shifts being made to include like the younger generation. I know like Max Tweedy, who's the festival director, like has put a big focus on, for example, making things more affordable. So like the gala used to be like $65 tickets. I remember when I got the job being like, why have I never been to the gala? And then I was like, oh,
$65.
that's what I earn in some weeks. By making the tickets begin at $20, making the dress code queer excellence, it can actually be by the community for the community. But I hadn't fully clocked, and I'm kind of clocking and doing this role and curating the gala and speaking to queerness so much and having to be so overtly queer as being like, I actually haven't done this outside of my kind of safe friend group and community of being like publicly queer. Which I feel really excited about but also really nervous about and like but ultimately grateful I have this opportunity to be like, hey. When I think of queer Auckland right now in terms of what I engage with, I think Coven, I think Faff Swag, I think Phil. Like, there could never be enough, you know, and like the more queer art there is, the more possibility there is for people to see themselves. There are so many queer stories that I suppose there could always be more, you know.
Slather it.
Yeah, slather the town.
Slather the town.